Well met, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Minecraft. Where we left off, we hadn't gotten much done. Started working on the house a little bit, then I remembered I had to do the farm, and then I remembered I gotta do the chickens, and, I think I've been getting a little overwhelmed with everything. So today we're going to pick a simple task that we're going to do. We are going to get the farm up and running. That's it. We're not going to stop this episode until it's done. We're not going to do anything else. We're not going to work on the house and then work on the thing and all that. We're just going to work on the farm. And when we're done the farm, if there's other stuff that we can do, we'll do that. But for now, the farm is priority. So, the first thing I want to do is I want to grab some wood from here. Grab my crafting table, so that way we can do that. Maybe grab some iron. Seeds, trees, sugarcane, buckets. That should be everything we need. Maybe some sticks, some signs. Okay. Now, we're going to leave the house for now. I know the bridge is unfinished. We might do that at the end of the episode just to do it. I think I want to make a path down to the farm at some point. I don't have an axe, which is kind of an issue. Oh, I can make it with the crafting table I have now, actually. So let us go and do this farm. Now what I want to do for the farm is kind of simple. All I want to do is make it so that way the farm is open, like it's going to be most of this field, and then have it surrounded by trees. That way, we get Grognak's request of the trees getting planted, and we have Waffle Brownstein's farm idea. Now, it's not the automated farm that I've promised, and it will eventually. That's a ladder. Shit, I gotta remember how to make a... I think this helps, right? Fence. No. Well, I mean, I do need a gate. I probably need 2 gates, actually. But I need the actual fence. Oh, okay. No, I need many of them. Alright, hold on. There we go. Add some planks. Whoops. There we go. I mean, it's not really enough, but what if I break that into sticks? Do that. Break that in half. Ran out of wood, but it's fine. Alright, so let us get started on this farm. The parameters I want for it are I want it to kind of go like this. I want it to be a little bit away so that way mobs can't really jump onto the fence. Can I make that? I think I can. No, I don't think I can. It's 2 blocks. No, I don't think so. I mean, if I sprinted, I can make it. But if I just jump, I don't think so, which is exactly what I want. Because we need to start being more careful about mobs. We've had a lot of creeper explosions, which is a serious issue that we should be more careful about. So we're just going to fence this up around here. We're going to expand the actual crops, because I want to make sure that we are getting enough food per harvest to keep us going until the next harvest. So, oh shit. I gotta make that axe. Alright, hold on. Let us go make that axe. Yep, there we go. And real quick. There we go. I might already have one, and some of you are probably cringing, but in my defense, I'm lazy, and I didn't want to go check. That's probably going to be a good width, maybe a little bigger. Like that? There we go, that looks good. And then, so, today's topic, suggested by Michaela, thank you, Michaela, is what are the 5 greatest, or what are the 5 worst things that have ever happened to you? Which is kind of a dark one, but at the same time, that's fine. I said anyone could ask any questions, and if that's what she wants answered, I don't mind answering that question for her. Now, I'm probably not going to do, like, a top 5, because that seems kind of weird to segment my life into, like, hashtag top 5 worst things ever done to Cal. Like, no, I'm all set on that. That's weird. But I don't mind talking about sort of my story for a bit, I guess, and, like, kind of the shitty things that have happened in my life. So, where should I even start? I grew up in a house that I feel, I don't know, I never really belonged in, you know? My family's fine, they're great, like, we've had our issues, we've had our differences, but we've come out stronger for them, but before we came out stronger for them, it was rough. So, when I was maybe a year old, my dad left. And I guess that's number one, quote unquote, is my dad left when I was young because he and my mother just didn't like each other, you know? And that happens. People don't like each other. But this was not just not liking each other. I mean, they hated each other, you know? There was a real tension between those two. I mean, they got in physical fights. It was bad. It was really bad. I don't blame either of them. I don't accuse one or the other. It was just two people who could not live together, if that makes sense. And I learned during that age, or not during that age, but like I learned over my life that was a very important lesson for me, because people don't have to get along, you know? I wouldn't want them to get along. I would not want my parents together. I love both of them. I've spent a lot of time with the both of them. They would not survive together, you know? So it's a good thing that they split. They never got married, so I'm a little bastard boy. But that's okay. I'm not religious, so it doesn't really bother me. And that's the other thing, I guess, would be growing up as an atheist, which I'm an atheist. I'm not really afraid to say it. I don't think that it matters that that's what I am, but I know that to some people that's like a terrible thing. Oh, he's an atheist. Oh, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, you're right, I am. And like, I don't know, I guess some people disagree with that. It's not really a lifestyle. Like, I don't go around preaching the great word of thinking that the universe is all going to end one day and that we're meaningless dust specks in the wind, you know what I'm saying? But growing up, I grew up in a family that had religious ties, especially my grandmother, and it was hard for me because I never had that connection with any religion. They were specifically, they were Protestant. My father is Catholic, and it was very hard to sort of... Let me back up a bit. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. When I was younger, I was someone who was very lonely. I didn't have a lot of friends when I was a kid. I had a friend group of about 4 people. They were not the best people. I love you guys now. You know who you are. You guys mean the world to me now. But man, when we were kids, we were all little dickheads. Like, we were not super nice to each other. And I grew up in this sort of sense of, like, I wanted to hang out with people. I wanted to be friends with people. But they had other priorities. They wanted to live their lives in a much more secluded way than I did. It wasn't that I was a loner, it's that my friends that I had chosen to be my group were loners. They wanted to do their own thing. One of them was huge on RuneScape, like they loved RuneScape, and I thought that was cool, but I couldn't get the satisfaction that I needed from an online game. I needed human interaction. And I remember very distinctly, I would ask to, come hang out or like anything like that. And this is when I was like 10 or 12 years old. I don't have much to say between those times, from when I was like 10 or so, anything but like before that, because I don't remember. But this friend group that I had, it's not that they're bad people or that they were bad people. They just didn't have the necessary social skills to, and I didn't either, let's be honest. But, so I guess I should say none of us really had the social skills to understand each other's needs as people, as friends. And I would not expect us to. We were young, you know? But that was very hard for me to have these friends who I would have a blast hanging out with, and, you know, I'd really want to go see them again. And then they would be like, oh, well, you know, I'm hanging out with such and such blank and blank, or the more prominent one, which was, oh, I don't really want to hang out right now. And that made no sense to me. People saying I don't want to hang out right now was like the weirdest thing. Because, like, in my mind, it was like, how would you not want to hang out? Like, my favorite thing is hanging out with you guys. You guys are my best friends. Like, why would you not want to hang out with me? And it took a very long time for me to sort of learn that that's not the relationship I had with my friends was not, like, healthy. Like, I needed them, but they didn't need me. And that has nothing to do with them, you know? Like, they didn't need me in a way that is not, like, not toxic, right? Like, it wasn't like they didn't need me, but I needed them so bad. It's like, I was just a lonely kid, and I didn't have a connection to my family, and I needed people to lean on, and they weren't there for me. No, that's not fair. Again, I love these people now. These are some of my best friends. But when I was a kid, like, I think I had a hard time communicating that I was lonely. And I think it came off as clingy and irritating and annoying. You know what I mean? Like, when you're a kid and you really want to hang out with people and they're like, oh, I'm busy. And then, like, you're like, why are you busy? What are you doing? Like, people don't like that. That's annoying. I was an annoying kid, you know? But that annoyance came from, like, a really lonely place. And it stayed that way for about 8 years, you know, until I was about 17, 18 years old. And that was hard. It's not an event, right? Like this is not a hard event, hashtag top 5 traumatic events, you know? But it was a hard thing for me. I think it was one of the more difficult things that I had going when I was growing up, you know? Definitely not number 1. We'll get to that. But yeah, when I was a kid, I was just a lonely kid, and I think that a lot of people can kind of relate to that. I think a lot of people, when they were kids, were lonely and just didn't really understand what being lonely meant at the time, right? Like, you're lonely, and you know you're lonely, but you don't know why you're lonely. Because you have friends, so it can't be that. But something's always nagging at you. Like, you're not enjoyable enough for your friends. And that's a very hard thing to kind of come to terms with. So that was a hard one for a very long time. But I got over it, you know? It was something that I struggled with when I was a kid, and eventually got over. When I was 12... So, back in the day, me and my father, I would visit him, like, every other weekend, right? And sometimes I would cancel because, like, I'd finally have a chance to hang out with my friends, and I'd be like, oh, well, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends, and he'd be like, bro, what the fuck? Like, you're gonna go hang out with your friends, like, you gotta see me twice a week, and I'd be like, but, do you play Xbox with me? And call people bad names on the internet? I don't think so. You know, apologies to my father, that poor guy. I was not the best when it came to stuff like that. But regardless, when I was 12, I had... How should I phrase this without it coming off as, like, crass? When I was 12, my brother died. And that wasn't super easy to go through. See, I'm not very good at talking about this. Not because I'm scarred by it still or anything like that. I've had my grieving process. And the people who supported me... Well, maybe that... See, I'm having a hard time, and I apologize. It's not that I'm uncomfortable talking about this. It's more like I haven't had to phrase it in a while, and doing it on camera without a person to sort of bounce back on makes it kind of difficult for me to articulate what exactly my feelings were. My brother was popular. He was a popular guy. He was incredibly talented and smart. He was 17 at the time, and he passed away. I'm not going to say how or when, but he passed away. And it wasn't an illness or anything. It was a form of an accident that happened, and that was very hard. And the weird thing is that me and my brother were close because we were brothers, but we weren't that close, you know? We weren't people who would spend every moment together. I was very much an annoying little brother. Stepbrother. He was my father and my stepmother's kid. And I looked up to him a lot, you know? He was someone who always seemed to do the right thing. Or say the right thing. He always seemed to be good, you know? Like, does that make sense? Like, he couldn't really do anything wrong. And when he passed, I don't know. I didn't really react to it at first. Like, it was a Saturday morning, I think, when my mother told me. I could be wrong. It was the weekend when I learned. And I remember my mother telling me, my mother didn't tell me. She gave me the phone, and my father spoke to me. But when I heard about it, I didn't really do anything. I went back to bed. It was early in the morning when I learned, and I didn't really know how to process the information, so I just went to bed. Like, I straight up, like, was like, oh, wow, I don't know how to process that information. I guess I'll take a nap. And so I slept all day, like literally like 13 hours. I just slept because I straight up like just did not really know how to process the information that had been given to me. And that was probably one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to go through in my life. Like, losing a parent and losing like an older person is difficult, and I don't wish it upon anyone. All grief is different, but losing someone at the height of their potential in life is so strange. It's strange because you knew when they were alive, like you knew that they were set up for something. They were set up to do something, to be something, and then they don't, and they're just gone, and you'll never know what they could have been. You fuck! I was monologuing. You dog, you caught me monologuing. You absolute bitch. God damn it. But yeah, that was just a weird, hard time in my life, I guess. I don't know. I've lost my momentum now that that's happened. That was a real scream, and I am a little embarrassed. I'm a little embarrassed. How the fuck did he get over the fence? God, there are so many. You know, I feel like nighttime in this game is just not goddamn fair. Get out of here! I want that. But I can't get it. That makes me sad. Oh well. I'm gonna refill this. So yes, the death of my brother, pretty up there. Pretty up there for hard things. Oh, I just realized he got it through there because I don't have any bone meal to actually... Can I find some, like, skeletons out here? There's just zombies. Come on, man! Are you fucking serious? I'm getting a little tired of this shit. Are you kidding me? Dude. With the fucking creepers. Every goddamn where I turn. Every goddamn whip stitch I fucking turn. There they are. Just being assholes. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Fucking top 10 things that went wrong in my life right goddamn now. Let's go sleep. This is annoying. But yeah, I don't know. So I guess having a different religion, the death of a loved one, and like, oh shit, actually, I think the hardest thing was after he died. I hope my dad's not listening to this. I don't think he watches my channel. I doubt he would watch me play Minecraft. But one of the hardest things was when my father left afterwards, and I don't blame him. I don't, because I get it. It was hard to stay in the same place, and he had always wanted to leave our home state. But when he moved away, it felt like he didn't have a reason to stay. You know? Like, I wasn't good enough. My brother was always better than me. Not in like a real like, oh, he was always better than me. Always in the light of my father's eyes. But he was better than me. He was legitimately a good person. And he was always, I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that when my father left, it felt like, when my brother passed, it felt like I should have been the focus, you know? And I know that's terrible and selfish, but that's what it felt like. It felt like I should be the focus now, finally. You know, it's me now. You know? And that's a terrible, selfish way to think. And I don't think I wasn't in the right for thinking that way. But I thought finally, at least through all this shit, all this trauma that I've now gone through, my father will have time for me. And then he left. Went off to a different state 10 hours away. And I think that was probably the hardest thing. You can recover from the death of a family member. Grief is... time heals all wounds, so they say, you know? Like, grief eventually subsides. It doesn't go away. I miss him every day. But it subsides. To feel abandoned is another thing. To feel like you weren't good enough to keep your own parent around, that's hard. It's really hard. It's one of the most difficult things I've dealt with. And I've dealt with a lot. I really didn't touch on everything. I mean, like, I've had a cushy life, I guess. Like, we weren't rich. Not by any means. I mean, we were pretty broke for a long time. But we weren't destitute. You know, I always had a roof over my head. I always ate. My parents made sure that I was taken care of. But that was hard. And I think that, you know what it did? And you know why I try not to be sad about it now? It's because I love my father. I have a great relationship with my father. I try to visit him every summer. Because I love the shit out of him. He's my role model. He's the person I look up to, even to this day. But I learned that you can't place your trust in people. Sure, you can trust people, but to give your trust, to really let them have it, you have to be so careful about that. And I'm not saying don't let people into your lives. That's foolish. But for me personally, like, I'm not saying it's good advice. I'm saying it's what I learned, whether that's right or wrong, mostly wrong. Is that I learned not to trust people. I learned that even a parent is going to betray you. And that's not the right lesson to learn from that, obviously, because he didn't. He was living his own life, and he had his own grief to take care of, and I know that now. I just didn't know it then. And I didn't know it for a long time. But, you know, I'm kind of glad. Because if he didn't, I wouldn't be who I am today. I'm not excusing the action of leaving. I don't think a parent should leave their kid in that kind of situation. But I don't blame him. I don't think he necessarily did the wrong thing. He did what was right for him, and I respect that. But I try to stay on the bright side of things, especially now, where my life is, I don't have a lot of time, and I'm tired all the time, and I have so little free time. I try to remember that hardship is good for you. It doesn't mean you have to like it. It doesn't mean you should wish it upon others. I hate that when people are like, oh, it'll help you build character. Yeah, it's good. It's like, no. Don't fucking do that. Don't tell people that their suffering is a good thing. But I think it's constructive, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Like, if you can view your own pain as, like, something that will help you later on in life, nothing can hurt you. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point. Man, I don't know. Like, you know? Like, it's weird. Like, it's weird to talk about, like, the struggles of your own life with, like, a group of people on the internet. Like, that's inherently, like, a weird thing to do. Which is why I'm having so much trouble articulating it. I didn't even talk about, like, I didn't talk about a lot of shit in my life. Like, I've had a lot. I'm 21 years old. I've had a long life, but I've had a life. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I've just been doing nothing for 21 years, and the only thing that's happened is that my dad left, and my brother died. like the other shit happened. Other shitty things happened, and I was my own person. There's no point to this conversation. There's no point to this, like, me talking about it the way that I am. I just wanted to share because someone asked. That's all. And I did. So, there's that. That's that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in my life I can boo-hoo about that people can feel bad for me for. But I am blanking a little bit. Hold on. I want to set this up. I know I said I wasn't going to get distracted, but I got I got a little distracted just because I want this up there. Oh, you motherfucker. Come on. Don't be like that. Don't be a fucking brute. You asshole. What are you doing? Stop. Like, what the fuck? Pumpkins, assemble. Goddamn. Form of... Thank you. Jesus shit. Good lord. Talk about a fucking hassle. There we go. Oh boy, now we gotta reset that energy. It's kind of a weird way to talk about, you know, a weird thing to talk about when I'm playing Minecraft, you know what I mean? Like that's a weird thing to talk about. And, like, I'm not mad that it was suggested. I think it's a good way to, like, get to know me and sort of my worldview on things. But man, like, life's hard, dog. Like, life sucks. I don't know what to tell you. I guess if you were to learn anything through, like, my experiences, and you shouldn't, you should learn through your own experiences. Like, I'm just a jackass online with, like, some subscribers that, like, are mostly my family and friends who will be like, that's a weird way to put what we've seen you experience, but, like, I don't know, it's my experiences. Fuck off. You didn't experience them. Like, fuck it, you know? But no, like, yeah, I think that, also, it's the farm. It looks very nice. I'm gonna add some torches. Life is kind of crummy. Whoops. And I think that the best way to learn from life is to, like, understand that just because life can suck doesn't mean that, like, life does suck. I feel like I'm going I'm going around on my points here, and I might not be making sense. But does that have any coherence? Like, life sucks, but it doesn't. No, sorry. I'm sorry. Life can suck, but it doesn't suck. Like, it's just hard. It's something that you work at every day, and you have to pay attention to. But that doesn't mean it's bad. You know, I wouldn't say that. Like, I think that's kind of foolish to say. But it's hard. I don't know. Shit. Again, I'm just like a dude. Like, don't take what I say for any sort of credit. Like, I'm just an idiot with, like, a microphone that, like, one of my little brothers gave me, which is ironic. Ironic. And I play video games, not for a living, because I don't make any money off of this, but just because it's fun, you know? Life's weird like that, I guess. You struggle, and you struggle, and when it all feels like it's crashing down on you, you wake up the next day. And the wave is gone. Pulled back into the sea of daily life. And it'll come back, and it'll hit you again. But you always get up, you know? I think people are resilient that way. I think everyone is resilient. Anyone listening to this, my friends and family and you know, travelers and college students and kids or whomever the hell is watching me, you're strong for going through what you go through. Don't think that because your situation feels small to others, that it is small. Fuck those guys. Hit them in the face. Don't hit them. Don't hit them in the face. But you know what I mean? Like, fuck what other people say. Like, your struggles are your own. If you get fucking offended by something, then you're fucking offended. Like, fuck what anyone else says. If you feel shitty, it doesn't matter if someone says that your problems don't matter. They do. They just don't recognize it. But fucking guess what? You don't need their goddamn recognition. You don't need anyone's recognition, no matter how much you tell yourself that you do. All you need is the people that are by your side. That's my rant for the day. This is our farm. It's not the greatest. It's got some dings and dents. It's not even finished. But you know what? I set to a task and I did it. And fuck it. Ain't that the only way to move forward? So, thank you all for joining me. And as always, I will see you further on down the trail. Bye, guys.